what's up? You're afraid you made the wrong decision. Okay, I know that feeling. It's like, it's a weird feeling of regret. I remember one time felt like I made such a wrong decision that I was just like in my brain so angry that there isn't a time machine to go back to a day before. Like, I forgot what, and I don't know what I did, but I remember just like Googling, like, I just remember being so mad that I couldn't turn back time because of something I said, or it goes deep. Well, look, as your friend, I will tell you, you made the right decision. It's done, okay? I can tell you, you made the right decision. It's done, and that's it. How can we move forward now with this current situation? Because although I fantasize about a time machine where we can hop in, crank it, and go back before the thing, it doesn't exist. So, you made the decision. We're here now. Perfect. You made the right decision. Okay? Even if it gets us into a little bit of trouble. Well, you have it in your power to make choices, to figure out how to get back. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you made the decision. Keep going. Okay? One time, listen to this. So, when I lived in New York City, my appendix exploded and I got sepsis. I was in this one hospital for 4 or 5 days. They discharged me, let me out. They gave me the wrong antibiotics. I got sick again. Sepsis didn't go away. And I was in that hospital for 18 or 19 days. They discharged me. And they gave me the wrong antibiotics again. So I get a phone call for my blood test. They were like, you got to go back to the hospital immediately because my white blood count was all off. And yeah, I was like almost died. And long story short, in my heart, I was like, I'm not going back to that hospital. And I had like family tell me, like, do not go back to that hospital. But I was torn. I was like, I really like my doctor though. She was a cool woman doctor. I met her kid and her kid was awesome. And like, so there was like this weird, like emotional attachment. She was very nice, this doctor. And so I found it really confusing because I was like, I really like her as a person. She knows my situation. The hospital had all my records. So I was really nervous about going to a new hospital, over explaining myself. Long story short, I was like, something in my gut though, I was like, I can't go back there. So I guess maybe I trauma bonded with the doctor, because like, I don't know, I just had this, that's what it was. It must have been. Anyway, so then I went to this other hospital. They call this new hospital in Manhattan calls that hospital in Queens. They said, hey, we have your patient. Could you please give us the information so we could properly treat her? Like, they needed to know the tests and like poured in the medical records and like sync the online records. And so the doctor from the Queens hospital that I was at, she tried to talk this hospital into shipping me back to that hospital in an ambulance. So the doctor in the Manhattan hospital goes over to me and says, "Look, Amy, I spoke to your doctor. She's kind of upset. She wants us to put you in an ambulance and go back. What do you want to do?" And I just felt so anxious and guilty. I was like, oh no, she's mad. Oh no. Like, I was thinking about that instead of myself. I wasn't putting my needs first. I mean, logically, they gave me the wrong antibiotics twice. At this point, I was almost dying. And it was just too much. And I was like, I don't know. And I'll never forget, the doctor in the Manhattan ER room, she looked at me and she said, oh yeah, I asked her, what should I do? She goes, look, she goes, I can't tell you what to do, but you came here for a reason. I would stick by that decision. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And something in me, I was just like, I'm staying. Decision done. And it was a great decision. They got me better, thank goodness, within 4 days. And I didn't have to go back to the ER. So I was glad. So that little thing of like, just keep in mind, you made this decision for a reason. Stick by it. Okay? Also, it helps to know, you know what? Don't go back. You know what I mean? Move forward. Onward and forward. And I'm sure you can always undo. But find the lesson. I think that's the most important thing in decision making. As long as you can find the lesson in it, like, there's really no bad decision, you know? There really isn't. Because either way, life is going to carry you to exactly where you need to be. And I was talking to my friend yesterday. I was kind of sad. This like crush talking to, it was like, hey, you know, like we were kind of like flirting, but then we decided to just keep it like platonically friendly. And I was like, oh man, I'm so sad. And she was like, no. She's like, that's great. She goes, that is great. He communicated that to you, and now you could spend your energy on who wants you. She goes, and you know, this phrase is always a little trite. One door closes so another one can open. Always a little trite, but it's kind of true. It's not kind of, it's true. Look, that door closed, so you know what? I'm glad. It's life's way of saying, he's not for me. He's not for me. Now on to the one that I you know, hey, you never know. You see, me, I have a bad habit of like trying to like jump to the end, you know what I mean, with life. As a kid, when I read books, I just jumped to the end and call it a day. And so stuff like this, like I just want to know. I want certainty. I like certainty. But we have to be comfortable. Be comfortable in the unknown. It's okay. It's exciting. Because there really isn't anything. Another trite quote, but it's true, is there's really nothing guaranteed except the present moment. It's so simple, but it's so true. There's nothing guaranteed except the present moment. And so this is all we have, pretty much. Just like forget, you know what I mean? So right now we're here. Okay, so let's go ahead, and you know what I like to do when I make a decision and I'm like stressing about it? I like to go through the cognitive distortion chart, the list of cognitive distortions. It kind of helps for me, so I'll do it with you. Okay. And also keep in mind, the world, universe, whatever general, not to get like spiritual, but like the world has your back. Know that the world has your back. Okay, so you're going to be carried to exactly where you need to be. Trust with action, though. You got to trust with action. That's the part a lot of people forget. So you made the decision. Now it's time to take action. But so what's the lesson you learned? Okay, good. All right. Now, with this anxiety that you're having, I'm sure it's hard to like stop thinking about it because that's it with me. So, cognitive distortion chart, all or nothing thinking. Is there anything that you're all or nothing thinking? Like, is there any gray area that we can be like, oh, okay, yeah, 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 that's fine. For example, yeah, like one of my crushes was at this social event thing, and I was like so stupid, or it's silly. I was happy I got to talk to him for a little bit, but I ended up leaving early, and I was mad at myself for not talking more to him. He was still there, and I was like, I'm so mad. Like, I wish I talked to him more. But guess what? So in my head, I was like feeling so mad at myself for not doing that. But like, there was some gray area. You know what I mean? Like, no, you know what? I talked to him for a little bit, and that was impactful. Maybe if I talked to him for a little bit more, it'd be like we'd have a bad interaction. You know what I mean? Now what about overgeneralization? Overgeneralization is like when you see something that happened negatively, that like you see like you're forever, that you're forever defeated. Like, oh, all the time, like this always happens. Does it always happen? No. It doesn't literally, you know what I mean? Like, literally, does it always happen? No. Are you defeated forever? No. No, you're not. So, just gonna pull you out of it. I'm gonna pull you out of it. Okay. Alright. Okay, so, mental filtering. Are you dwelling on the negatives? Like, okay, tell me 2 positive things about this decision. Go ahead. 2 positive things. Yes, you can think of them. I know you can. Emotional reasoning. I'll be like, it's hard because like you have your mind, body, and soul. So it's like when you make a decision, it's like your mind could think one thing, and then your soul could think another, and then the gut, like everybody will trust your gut. It's like, my gut is gurgly. I just had pizza. But like sometimes I'll be like, if I, for example, like with my ADHD, I zone out and be like, oh my god, I feel like they thought I wasn't intelligent. And then I make it like I'm not intelligent. And it's like, no, because I felt that they thought. There's like 2 cognitive distortions in that. Because I felt that they thought, oh my gosh, too much, selenite stick, too much, etch a sketch, we're erasing that. No, it's kind of like, okay, just because I feel like that doesn't mean I'm that. It's a feeling. When I took a mindful meditation course, oh my goodness, I actually really liked it. One thing that helps is label. So, for example, if you're feeling anxious, label it anxiety. And I imagine like that there are bubbles around me with the word into it. So like, for example, I'm currently in a situation with the guy I'm dating. Like, it's not good. I texted him something, it's on the chopping block. I'm ready to be with somebody who cares about me. I'm not feeling it. Too personal, whatever. But my point is, like, I texted him something, like, I'd like to cut things off, like, ethically, but I texted him something and he's not texting back, and I'm like assuming, But it's like, you know what? I don't know what the facts are. And I do know a fact that he may not be actually available to text back. So it's like, maybe he's not being like rude, but maybe he's just not available. So that would be worry. If there were bubbles, I would pop the bubble of worry. Mind reading, pop that bubble. Doubting myself, because it's like, come on, guys, who wouldn't want to text me back, right? It's like what we think. It's all. If we're gonna think thoughts that you can't guarantee, you might as well think good thoughts and complimentary thoughts, right? I can't guarantee, so it's like, meh, of course wants to text me back. Like that lucky girl syndrome thing, that it's a new trend that people are like, I am lucky, and like good things happen, and I bet you they do. I love that. Okay. All right. And then what about like personalization, blame? Are you like personalizing something? Are you blaming yourself? Yeah, like, hey, sometimes things aren't about us, they're going through something, Yeah, it could be hard. Like, I got family stuff, and I notice like sometimes I take out my sadness about that onto other things, and it's really confusing. It could be overwhelming, So but we do got to take responsibility, because we are responsible for how we feel, think, and treat others. So, but because we can't, so I can only control my baggage. The other person can only control their baggage. You know what I mean? So it's like, what other people are freaking out about, we don't have control over that. So it's no use of personalizing, blaming, nothing to do about us. I always think like they might have to burp. They probably have indigestion. They're nasty. They're nasty because they got indigestion. I don't know. I like to say it at least. Whatever. It's soothing. Okay. Okay, so here's a quote that I actually really liked. It's by Alan Watts, okay? And he said, no amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that's going to happen. And that's so true. So, for example, this text, I'm like feeling anxious about it. I'm getting somebody who doesn't. I trigger this. Anyway, no, I got to handle my stuff. But anyway, I really like that. No amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that's going to happen. So, like, my anxiety is not going to make this go faster or feel, choose to feel better by thinking better thoughts. Okay, so, all right, so now you learned your lesson. Now let's think of strategies really quick for decision making in the future. One tip is that I really like to say, if someone asks me a question on the spot, instead of being like, oh, yeah, and then like freaking out, having regret, I do a little moment of silence. I go, can I get back to you? And that's a fair. I always appreciate when people are like, can I get back to you? Because I'm like, yes, absolutely. Because I don't want to be, oh my goodness, as the person, like I've been the person who is like, who says yes and then is annoyed. And it's like, ugh. I've been that person, but I also been the person who asked plans and I could tell the other person is annoyed. And it's to the point where, it's like, I feel it. And it's like, you know what? If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, save me time, because I have a couple other people I could ask. So, you don't want to do it, I don't care. Let me know. You know what I mean? I'm always like, I get annoyed when people are like, people can tell when you're people pleasing, and it only inconveniences everybody almost, And mind you, some people are like, they think like being blunt. Who really knows what like the perfect, oh wait, anyway, but also there's like being polite and respectable in terms of turning down plans. So okay, so tip 1 is be like, yo, can I let me get back to you on that, instead of saying yes on the spot. Or 2, if you don't want to do something, just decline right away. Like, say no, decline right away, okay? Because it'll save you time, you brain energy. Decision fatigue is real. So it's kind of like save your mental bandwidth. No, done. I love it. Yeah, like when you make a decision and be done with it. Like, yep, here we are. Because I know, like, I ruminate sometimes, and it's like so much mental energy ruminating, and like my brain's trying to problem solve. Like, what if I did it this way and this? No, 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 no. You decided, you made a decision, boom, you're there. So I heard, like, in life that regret is two things, okay? It's things we did do and things we didn't do. The most painful form of regret, they found, is based on the things that we didn't do. Okay, so yeah, don't forget, take the risk sometimes, livens life up, I think inaction sometimes can really be like really sad, like bring sadness in action. I know for me, like, for example, my friend, she asked me out to an open mic yesterday, and like I was feeling kind of sad in general. Like, when I don't do my creative stuff, I get like kind of like sad and bummed out. And she asked me to the open mic. I wouldn't have gone if she didn't ask. I went and I felt amazing. Like, it recharged my batteries. So taking action and deciding to go was a great decision for me. And remember, this little tacky, I don't know if it's tacky, but like it's trite. The quote of "There's two things guaranteed in life: death and taxes." That's true. So remember, like, we're decaying every second. Like, do what you want to do. Yeah, I think I get in trouble when I like try to do the thing that's like courteous and people pleasing for other people instead of what I want to do. And that's when I'm like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? And then I inconvenience other people trying to change plans. It's a mess. So I think at the end of the day, like, just for future, just like do what you really want to do. Because at the end of the day, your heart, you're going to do great. You learned your lesson. Inhale and exhale. Okay. All right. Well, it was awesome hanging out with you. Okay. I'll see you later.